welcome to Eastenders Weekly, your weekly podcast all about EastEnders. This week we'll be covering episodes from the 19th to the 23rd of February. So if you haven't seen them, go back, watch them, come back and listen to us.
You can always catch them on iPlayer or watch the Omnibus on a Sunday.
Omnibus, is that still
Yes, yes, it's a thing. It's just
on Watch.
On Watch.
With adverts, I'm afraid.
Oh, well... the old days of watching it on BBC One on Sunday afternoon.
Well, that's why we're here.
Yes.
We're your new Sunday omnibus.
Hope you guys are cooking a nice roast and enjoying this roundup. In fact, don't bother watching Watch. Just tune into us and listen to us.
So this week, EastEnders scheduling was chaotic.
Yes, well, there has been a lot of sporting events, which is bizarre for this time of year. Normally it's the summer schedule that gets messed around. There's been the Olympics, the Winter Olympics, and the Six Nations rugby. So excusable sporting events, not football, basically.
Hopefully people didn't tune in and wonder what storyline was this week of Mick playing football or something bizarre. Aunt Babe on the pitch.
Well, that's something they never did, actually. Normally they tie in a sporting event to the episode. They film it on the week, don't they? And they kind of link it into the episode. And they never did that.
When the result of something, they film it.
Yeah, they give it. I can't believe that. Well, not a sporting event, but an example I come straight to the top of my head is the EU referendum when they were outraged in the Minute Mart.
The latest one was Michelle and Patrick. They were talking about, but everyone noticed it because Michelle had blonde hair.
Oh, that's right.
For that one
I do
scene.
remember.
And she was in the other scene and she had brown hair.
She had brown hair and it was a completely different cut.
Yeah.
She was on the park bench with Patrick.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, I can't
I think
remember.
that was the last time they did that.
Was
maybe it was.
Well, Michelle's not been in the soap for a long time, so it's been a very long time.
She's been gone. It might have been the pregnancy of one of the royals, or
no, I don't know. Oh goodness, I wish I could remember.
If anyone remembers,
if anyone remembers, yes, send us an email, send us a tweet at EastEnders Week, and as I say, email us eastendersweekly@gmail.com. We really appreciate any messages that you send to us, any thoughts, any theories.
Yes. Totally. So this week's episodes opened with Tina waking from a hangover.
Yes, well, it kind of came out of nowhere, didn't it? It was a strange one. She woke up in the toilets, which we might need to discuss a bit further later on, because those toilets have been quite a prominent use set this week.
Tracy's had her eye on them.
Tracy's kept her eye on those toilets, and she woke up with a Peter Pan tattoo on her leg.
Is that what the tattoo was?
It was, yes. It was referenced a couple of times. A Peter Pan tattoo. She was very unwell from drink, and we got to meet a new character, only briefly, but we got to meet a new character who became quite prominent in.
He did.
Monday's
he was
episode.
Trending on Twitter.
Was he?
I'm not sure for the right reasons, but he was there. Everyone's
Marvin.
talking about it.
Magic Marvin. He's you're led to believe that he's almost like the Chuckle Brothers. He's very famous on children's television, and has been prominent since the mothers of the children.
Well, Kathy said she used to watch him on TV.
So it must be.
And
goodness me,
Pearl watches him as well. So he's had quite the career in Wolford.
Although Stacey's son used to like him. Yeah. He's not so keen on him anymore.
Arthur's gone off him,
and he, she did warn Martin that Arthur might not enjoy it as much as Martin had hoped he'd enjoy it. Was tied in together, the storyline. It was the beginning of the Martin and Stacey storyline, which we'll also discuss a bit further.
Yeah, because Tina woke up and in the Vic, this new character, it was Magic Marv, wasn't he? He was hungover. He had a tattoo as well.
He did. He had a matching tattoo. They need to go on Tattoo Fixers.
Yes.
It's like a wormhole of
I've waited for Red Nose Day. I mean, the whole episode was almost like a Red Nose Day episode. I've seen online quite a few people commenting it as the worst episode ever.
See, I wouldn't go as far as that. It's certainly not the worst episode ever.
Certainly not the best.
It's certainly not the best. It's probably the most mediocre episode they've had amongst.
I mean, it just goes up and down. Like the last episode we saw before this was Abby's funeral, and then to go from that to then just seems like random storyline filler. No mention of the funeral. No mention of Lauren. The episode starts with Tina waking up from a hangover.
Yes.
So did she have a good time after the funeral?
Well, it was the weekend, wasn't it? So she must have had quite a fun weekend. Again, it was setting up to us learning that Tina felt a little bit like the black sheep in the Carter family, that she wasn't seen as an adult and couldn't be responsible for anything. And the realization of that for Tina does happen near the end of the episode. And then throughout the week, we also then see that Tina steps up to the plate.
And so Tina first met the new character of Georgie in the cafe, who appears pregnant and upset.
Yes, well, she was minding her own business in the corner and then had one of many stumbles throughout the episode. And Tina obviously then offered her a glass of water. Kathy, as compassionate as ever, was also making sure that Georgie was okay. But then later we found Georgie in the pub talking to Shirley. And Tina was a bit confused by why Shirley was talking to her all the time. So she was doing the classic looking around the corner every now and then, seeing what's going on over there. What's going on over there? And just seeing what was going on. And obviously we later discover that Georgie is friends with Zaza,
which is Tina's daughter. So again, all linking up to Tina's irresponsibility and always trying to do the right thing, trying to be an adult, but not really getting it right. Dress age appropriate. She's got her licorice all sorts bracelet, which Shirley doesn't approve of.
Well, exactly.
So it's all coming together.
It's all linking episodes together, and it's a very short story arc, which came out of nowhere. Really, no one really expected it to happen.
I mean, what do you think about how the Carters keep having a sort of family member or friend of the week recently? Are they trying to just keep shoehorning the Carters into storylines? Because we had halfway for about a week and a half. Which is a family friend, and then we have Georgia, who's now appeared.
Georgie. Whatever family are in the Queen Vic, whoever runs the Queen Vic, they are the centre, they are the nucleus of the whole of EastEnders. So they would always have to be not necessarily centre of attention, but they have to have something plodding along in the storyline. And I get the impression that it's actually starting to upset a few viewers that as you say, that the Carters tend to have something shoehorned into an episode
every
week. And it tends to be a very short story as well.
I mean, by the end of the episode, she goes into labour at the end of the week.
At the end of the week, yes.
And Tina steps up.
She steps up again.
Shirley gets punched in the face by Georgia for some reason.
Well, she yes, in a fit of her giving birth. It's a bit of a stereotypical trope that a lot of dramas and comedy series do. That if you're pregnant, then you're going to be angry and you're going to want to hurt someone. And
they needed to find a way to get Shirley out of the picture.
They needed to find a way to get Shirley out of the picture, go downstairs.
Story to come full circle.
Absolutely, because again, let's not forget that Tina she tried to fix things with Georgie and her mum, not knowing that Georgie's mum was a bit of a alky and can be a bit angry, and basically Georgie didn't want anything to do with her. Tina had met Georgie's mum at the secret cafe, as I like to call it.
Yes, the one down the road.
The one down the road.
Lots of things go on.
Yeah, not so nice cafe. It always
it makes cafes look posh.
Makes Cafe's cafe look posh because they've got a 16-bit video game machine in the corner of the cafe and they play music, while the other one doesn't play anything. It's just background noise.
So, did you find it hard to care about Georgie? I mean, there's a brand new character who's been in not even three episodes, and then we're watching her give birth. I think it's quite a lot to ask for anyone to really care. I mean, Tina's not mentioned Zaza for I've not even heard her mentioned for 5 years, maybe. And all of a sudden, this random character who we have no attachment to, we're now watching her give birth. I mean, I'm not. Are we bothered if we see her again? Or
no, I think
I don't know what the point was of that.
I think the point is, Zaza's coming back, isn't she?
Well, the actress who plays Zaza has said she's not been recast, but she's also has no plans to return.
Okay, well then maybe another actress will be playing Zaza.
No, the lady said she's not being recast.
Oh, she's not being recast. Sorry,
or the current actress isn't returning. So
right,
not really sure why.
Maybe it's a reason for Tina to leave for a little bit then, even though it was for it was for benefit of Tina. That's what that storyline was. It was for benefit of Tina. So there must be something rumbling. I don't know. Here's a theory out of the blue. Maybe Tina's going to want to have another child. Maybe she want to go to a sperm bank or something.
Scares this year. She's had pregnancy tests from Woody.
Oh yes, and
slept with Billy. I'm sure she slept with someone else, hasn't she? Probably.
So maybe she
needs to grow up.
She wants to grow up.
Yes.
That week or last week she's grown up, but then who knows? The first minute of first episode will be her laying face down in a bucket of vomit, and it'll be like, oh well, that was a waste of our time. Do you know how long the Georgie is staying for? Is she just literally going to duck in and duck out?
Yeah, I think she is what she is.
They've set her up a bed sit. Is it one of Jack's bed sits? One of his many empire.
No, Jack would be private renting. He would. He's not letting anyone have any cheap rent, is he?
No, he's not. He's not letting anyone away with that.
I mean, speaking of grown-ups, so we have a little talk about the thrilling storyline which has been going on this week of chess playing with Ted, Patrick, and Bernadette.
Yes. And the accusations flying around left, right, and centre of Ted and Bernadette. I don't know why
they keep showing this chess game. I don't know what the end game is.
Well, it's to show that Bernadette has found a talent that she enjoys. She's found something she likes, isn't it? She's always been a bit of a wanderer, not really knowing what she wanted, especially when she got pregnant, had the miscarriage. She kind of lost any kind of meaning, and now she's found one. And it's been with someone you least expected, and that's with Ted. Hence why there was a lot of people saying, "Oh, it's a bit weird." I think it's a bit weird that you play chess in the shed with.
Yes, well, they're not the only ones thinking that, because Karen and Keanu was quite suspicious, weren't they?
They were,
because obviously Bernadette was playing chess with Ted, and on the episode she wanted to take the chessboard home to get some extra practice in. I don't know who she was playing against, herself. And obviously we had another storyline of where the dog ate a bit of chess.
Well, she ate a piece, but then you later discovered that the dog hadn't eaten the piece. It was just tucked under the bed. It was just they just all thought that.
And that's 2 times in the past month that we've had a dog eating something storyline.
Yes,
the ring.
Yes. But also, they've been accused of stealing. There's been lots of the wedding ring as well this week. Vincent accused Karen.
Yes, that was really good scene actually. Karen's just—they're
a great family. So they're really good. And
she shot Vincent down and told him where to go, and it was great.
But Bernadette, this is again, it's giving Bernadette a purpose, and she's found something she loves, and that's chess. And it's nice also because she's not gonna. This sounds awful thing to say. She's not one of the prettiest girls, so she can't necessarily. But the character knows this, as in they kind of downplay her. She's always, wearing really loose clothing, and she never puts makeup on. Her hair's never really done. So her character is. She knows she can't use her looks or her charm to get her way in the world. So she knows she has to use her brains, which she did do at school. And she was always the smart one, but she never really clicked with anything. With chess, she's clicked with. And so she's found something she loves. I thought it was horrible when everyone was mean to her because she wanted to start a chess club. I thought that was really admirable.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about one of those scenes because obviously her brother Keegan took her out for the day and they bunked school together, and he was taking photos of her and making fun of her on her own EastEnders version of Instagram.
Yes.
And obviously Louise
made fun of
Bernadette
came over
for that. And made fun of her.
That really ground my gears because Louise should know better than anyone
last year
that bullying is a really horrible thing to do. I think maybe she was doing it to be a little bit like, oh, Bernadette, ha ha ha, a bit kind of bants.
Yeah, but I don't know why she's trying to show off in front of Keegan because he's the one that pushed her into the fire.
Well, yes,
she seems to have forgiven him for that.
Well, it's like the school boys and girls, like, oh, I really like her, so I'm going to almost kill her. I'm going to set her on fire.
We never saw anything come from the 2 bullies from last year.
No, well, again,
that storyline of the 2 bullies is what made
hilarious.
us start thinking about making this podcast. I wish we made it last year because there's so much to say about
I had so many opinions of those two. They just
they were horrible.
They were brilliant because they did the characters and played
slightly
it
poorly
so well.
written,
But
and
the
it was
writing,
it was amazing. So that's where our idea of this all came from. But I was upset there was no end to them. They just got laughed at the prom, and then they disappeared. And that was that.
Like something from a CW network teen drama. They were like all booed as they left.
So I'd be more than up for them having a revenge comeback on Christmas Eve, maybe.
What, in the same style as what we've just had?
Yeah.
With Kathy.
I'd enjoy it.
They're going to start their own company and like take over like the school dinners and start poisoning them. We all want them back. But again, it's the old producer. I don't think anything's ever going to be linked to that storyline ever again. Anything that old producer made, unfortunately, is going to be buried and forgotten forever.
Well, it's a shame because he did quite well with Bex's bullying storyline. It had so much potential.
But again, it was the two bullies. The two bullies were the
it had so much potential.
crux.
It just wasn't executed correctly. But anyway, onwards and upwards. We can only hope after Monday's tagging of worst episode ever, it's on the way up.
I still think that's so unfair. I really do. But I agree with you. I hope Alexandra and Madison does return. Oh, I really do. I hope they have a really nice big storyline. I hope they do. You know those trailers they do when they're going to put up like a really big storyline. I can imagine it in my head right now, like the wind blowing down Albert Square and all the market stalls kind of go whoosh, like that, and then them two just walking down looking all vicious, like, all right, we're back to get Bex, and we don't care at all who's going to get in our way. Whoever gets in our way, brat, and they're going to go. That's what I want, and that's what I'm looking forward to. Maybe Christmas.
Maybe
Easter.
for the 35th anniversary.
Absolutely.
Because it was the 33rd birthday of EastEnders this week.
Yes.
And EastEnders celebrated by showing football, not even showing EastEnders. Although it's lucky they didn't, because if they would have shown it, it would have been the Magic Marv episode, which might not have gone down so well.
So that would have been their celebration of 33 years of EastEnders. I suppose it's not a big landmark.
No, normally it's every
years.
sort of 5 years is what they do.
Yeah.
But I wanted to talk about other anniversary episodes because there's, they're normally every 5 years they do like a big episode. So can you remember what any of them would be?
Ooh, okay, this is good. Okay, let's go.
So I had a look back over some of the episodes, trying to find what like the big episodes were on the anniversary or the episode closest to the anniversary. So obviously the first ever episode, we all remember how it opened.
Oh, it opened the same way as the 30th anniversary episode, which is they kicked the door and I wouldn't know the character's name, but someone was found dead.
On episode 1, it was a man called Reg who was dead.
That's
and
it.
I think Den kicked the door.
Den was the one. He's the first character to ever be in.
And then on the
EastEnders.
30th episode, they kicked the door open to
find
Nick.
It was Nick Dot's son.
Yeah, and it was Stacey Martin.
OD'd, and I didn't Dot buy the stuff purposely for him to do it. She almost kind of just said, "I want you dead now," because I'm sick and tired of.
Yeah, so that was the first episode back in 1985.
Wow.
And then you go on to 1995 because they didn't do anything for the 5th anniversary. I couldn't see any. I assume it's too new. So their 10th anniversary wasn't really much either. There was an episode a few days before the anniversary which celebrated Ethel's 80th party in the Vic.
Oh, Ethel with little Willie.
Yes. So there was that, and then the episode on the other side of that weekend, nothing happened. It was just a regular episode. So we'll get there. So 19th of February 2000.
Ooh, millennial.
It was their 15th birthday. This was the episode which was pretty much based solely in the Vic, because the police had become aware that a World War II undetonated bomb had been found.
Where was it? Was it in the gardens or?
I can't remember. I think it was just out on the streets,
Which
wasn't
is
it?
just laying there.
Because the Vic, I remember the Vic shaking.
For 15 years, they kept tripping over this metal object, and they didn't realise.
Obviously, it was underground, and it was just all the characters that were in the Vic coming together as a community.
Oh, they like community family. Yeah,
So,
let's put a sofa in the middle of the street and talk and have a beer.
That was the Millennium episode. I mean, I think the 1999 one was must have been Ian and Mel's wedding.
That was the actual one that was shown on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, yes, and she basically said, "I never loved you," and then walked away. And Ian Beale's
because Ian Beale faked that Lucy had cancer for Mel to stay, didn't he?
Oh right,
And
okay.
I think that's when Mel found out, and
that's interesting because that's not very different to what Stephen did.
I know,
and
they all forget they've done it before.
They need to go onto Google like we did.
So 5 years later, 2005 is the 20th birthday. So this is a really good one. This is when I was at my peak of watching EastEnders. It was when Dirty Den had come back and been killed off again.
You say killed off again? He was never killed.
Well,
he was all off screen.
Even though Sharon identified his body, but still, she was very upset. So
Sharon,
she was confused. She had a bottle of wine.
She had a bottle of wine the night before. She had a hip flask when she was there, and all she was thinking about was going to that department store and getting herself a nice dress.
Her inheritance,
getting her money.
So the 20th episode was the episode where Dirty Den died, and he got hit over the head, didn't he?
He did.
Was it the Queen Vic?
It was the
bust.
It was the Queen Vic bust was Archie. Oh goodness me, I can't remember. But he got buried. He's still in the, or he was in the.
Because Chrissy was running the Vic with him, wasn't she?
Chrissy was running the Vic,
and it all involved Chrissy, Zoe, and Sam.
Yes,
but the better actress Sam, not the original Daniela Westbrook. Which I would love for her to come back. Not Daniela Westbrook.
The better one.
Yeah, Sam Metcalf.
Do you remember
Sam Metcalf, I think.
Do you remember when Daniela Westbrook came back, the most recent, not the most recent time, but a few years back, and Peggy was still in it, and Peggy entered her into a beauty competition.
Really?
Yeah. She entered them, and she was like, "Oh yeah, definitely, I can do that. I'm so pretty." And they kind of made out in the episode that, yeah, she's got a chance of winning it. It's like, have you met Daniela Westbrook?
Yeah, I mean, she did come back a few years ago because she dropped off the son to Jack, didn't she?
Yeah,
ran off to Spain, and that was the last time. I don't think they're going to hire her again because she's a bit unpredictable, isn't she? The Daniela. But I wouldn't say no to the other actress coming back.
No, the other actress was
amazing.
fantastic. She was really good.
That was a good 2005 episode. The murder of Den and shoving him under the concrete.
It was under the concrete in the cellar. That's the word I'm trying to think of. In the cellar, and. Yeah, and then that went on for a while, didn't it? And it was all about those three, wasn't it? Like who was going to get
Sam and who was going to
admit it. And in the end, Zoe went off. I can't remember.
I think she went to Spain, didn't she? Still in Spain.
Everyone goes to Spain.
I mean, last year I remember they kept showing Stacey and Kat talking to Zoe on Skype, and they kept hinting that Zoe was coming back, but.
Well, she is the Bionic Woman. Let's not forget.
One whole season in America.
For one whole year, she was the Bionic Woman. So, she could probably run across the Atlantic Ocean and come back to the square.
So we move on to February 2010 for the 25th anniversary.
Ooh.
This one.
This was the one. This is in my opinion, this live episode that I know we're going to talk about.
Giving it away.
Well, I remember it.
It was the live episode.
Was it?
Yes. This is the one where you're trying to find out who killed Archie.
Yes.
A lot of deaths every 5 years.
There's a lot of deaths every few months.
Good deaths. So this is when no one knew who killed Archie, and it was going to be revealed live.
Yes.
On TV. So they obviously got the best actress on the show to do that.
Lacey Turner.
Yes.
The lovely Lacey.
So and it was also the episode where Bradley died.
Yes, which is again such a shame because Bradley was a great character. It was a fantastic episode. Many reasons. One, Jack fluffed up his lines throughout, and yet he's still in it and gets paid the most.
And Max
putting his fingers down his throat. The camera misting up because it was so cold outside.
Ronnie and Roxy didn't pay for their shopping in the Minute
Ronnie
Mar.
And Roxy, they just left the Minute Mar. Lacey Turner was really, really ill as well. She was
she had a really bad cold, didn't she?
It was worse. No, she had like a fever and everything.
Really?
She had like a flu virus. She was really sick, and she had to do most of her scenes outside in the cold. If you notice, she wears a lot of layers. She's very cold.
She's a trooper.
But it was a really good live episode.
It's always fun when it goes live.
I love live episodes of anything, but yes, because and I hate it when it's too perfect. I think sometimes soaps try to make live episodes too perfect now, and it's not the fun. It's not in the spirit of the soap. I like that. There were some mistakes, and it was a really good episode. I remember being hooked, and I remember this is when they used to do a sister show on BBC Three afterwards. forget what it was called now. But I remember I
They
never
go
used
and talk to everyone on the set, don't they?
yeah, but this
afterwards?
because it was live, they were talking to them straight after they filmed the thing, and you could see the absolute relief in everyone. This filming this half-an-hour episode, God, they must have been their adrenaline. But I remember they spoke to Heather, the actress who plays Heather, and she apparently had no idea what was going on. Even though she was
unnecessary killing off Heather.
I know. Well, I
think that's a topic we need to talk about: is unnecessary killing of characters.
Yes,
there's a few that
silly
I feel
deaths.
Didn't need to die.
There's a
Fat boy.
Oh,
did he need to die?
No, he didn't. He really didn't. That's again that kind of. Anyway, we'll discuss that on another day.
I'll make notes. So 5 years later, 2015, is the 30th anniversary. This is the storyline, again another killing, of when you find out who killed Lucy.
And spoiler alert, it was Bobby.
It was, not Jane.
No.
I actually knew, well, I didn't know, but I had bets that it was Bobby before it was revealed, so I was correct.
Really?
Well, you weren't allowed to bet because he wasn't a suspect, like an official suspect. But I knew, in my mind, I knew.
I always think it's dodgy when you're able to bet on storylines, because information could leak so easily.
I mean, they did this one cleverly because the whole week leading up to this, they had like one live scene in every episode.
Yes, in the corner.
And they had a corner saying hashtag
EastEnders Live. Yeah.
And that was fun.
It was
really
fun.
Good.
I liked it. I would have preferred it. When they said they were doing a week of live episodes, my whole body collapsed with excitement because I thought, oh my goodness, they're actually going to do 4 live episodes.
Yes, but it was really amazing because when you saw that come up in the corner, you're like, right, switch on, have to.
True.
You know it's live.
But at the same time, when it came up in the corner, it kind of sucked out the drama for me because it made me realise that I'm watching a soap.
No, I liked it.
Not that EastEnders is top class drama.
3 years ago, it was very good.
Another thing is, 3 years ago, they had a real time when they weren't releasing storylines to newspapers.
Everything was kept secret. Any returning characters and things.
So it made EastEnders. It made soap worth watching. And I don't know why. I've never understood why they release information so readily.
They've started doing that again now.
They've started doing it again, and it's fine to leak a few drabs here and there, but. Why do they release information so readily? I just wish they would keep something in their back pocket just to make the viewer. When Jane returned, no one knew Jane was returning. And I mean, that episode when she walked through the door, it's like, right. It was like, oh my God, Jane's back. And
then Tanya came back for her live.
Yeah, and no one knew. And Phil came back on the live episode. No, not
Kathy.
Phil. Kathy.
Yeah,
Phil
that was.
Phil will never leave. Yeah, Kathy came back, and no one expected that to happen. Knew. And they had to film that all the way off the set as well. So they kept that really quiet. But then Kathy came back like a bad smell and then has never left.
I like Kathy.
Oh, I know, we love Kathy.
So that's the 30th birthday. So
I must say, I love Kathy's necklace.
Exciting. So who knows what could be happening on the 35th?
Well, we've got 2 years to wait. Any
will
prediction?
Aiden still be alive? My prediction is someone's going to die.
Yeah, someone will die.
Or someone will be revealed as a
There'll be a birth, there'll be a death, and there'll be
a sacrifice.
Because they have to give blood. They have to give blood to the soap gods every 5 years, or else the soap can't continue. It's the only way they can continue the soap. But yeah, there'll be a birth and a death. But no, they would never stretch out this storyline that they're doing at the moment till another 2 years. If they do, then kudos to them, because my goodness, that's gonna really, really show their talent stretching that out.
So on to the second half of this week's exciting episodes. We need to touch upon Martin and Stacey's storyline with Hayley, the new girl.
Yes, it's getting interesting.
Secret phone calls that Stacey's making to who I'm assuming is Kat, maybe, or Big Mo. I'm not sure, about custody battles. And on the last episode, on Friday's episode, Hayley had been flirting with Martin, eating his apples from his stool. The one time Martin doesn't kick off at someone, it's a chavvy, dark-haired girl. So he obviously has a type.
He has a type.
Sorry, Sonia. So she was obviously flirting with him and Kush in the cafe, and Stacey...
Kush was encouraging it. Again, is there an underhanded...
I don't know why Martin and Kush are acting like she's some sexy new girl, because not the actress is very good. She's a good character, but she's not she's quite chappy. She's not the most attractive. So I'm not sure why they're all head over heels with her, but
she must have some kind of charm, perhaps because she's very confident. Confidence always is a perk.
Cheeky. So she was flirting.
Cheeky.
Yes. So she was flirting with Martin, and then obviously Stacey saw this and got a bit upset.
But again, I don't know. Well, she played I don't care what you do. You do what you like. It's your life. It's your life, Martin. You do what you like.
But she also whispered something into Stacey's ear afterwards, didn't she?
Yes. Now, what did she whisper in Stacey's ear? Stacey didn't seem to react to it.
Well, she doesn't seem like So it can't be like, I'm a secret Slater here. Cat sent me or whatever. It can't be, because Stacey acted like she had no idea who she was or what she was doing there. So it wasn't her Stacey's been on the phone to. So I'm not quite sure. Quite intriguing.
But she's been taking the photographs, hasn't she? We discussed last week. And it's always been photographs of Martin, hasn't it?
Yes.
So she's obviously has her sights on Martin for something. Now, is she linked to? Are they deliberately trying to give something?
Red herring.
Well, no. So because we know we've recently discovered again with Vincent this week that solicitors or people who are of management of some sort are very
I don't
sneaky.
think she's a solicitor.
Sneaky. But no, but she might be hired by. This is the kind of thing that you can imagine they would do. She's been hired by Stacey's solicitor to flirt with Martin, so that
he doesn't get custody.
So there's a very good reason for custody to go to Stacey, because let's be honest, at the moment where how things are panning out, if they were to go down the legal route, I strongly believe that Martin would have a better case than Stacey's got for any reason whatsoever. The fact that Stacey infidelity, so she had broken the contract in law. So maybe Stacey would be in on the act, but maybe not. No. And so maybe she whispered, "Hey Stacey, I'm here to sleep with your ex-husband. Don't tell him no." And then Possibly. I know it's a bit exaggerated.
There's a theory that I've read briefly online.
Oh, right.
So spoilers alert, just in case it's correct. Some people are thinking she may be the daughter of Jamie, who Martin ran over and killed.
Oh, what? Sonia's ex-husband?
Yes.
It's another Mitchell.
Because I think Jamie had a child, or so. I read it very quickly online.
Jamie had
somewhere.
a child.
Yeah.
With another woman.
Yeah, and she is Jamie's daughter. So she's out to get revenge on Martin because Martin killed her dad. That's what I've read. Who knows?
That's really good.
I mean, a bit of a sidebar.
That's so much better than my one.
A bit of a sidebar. What I want to talk about is on one of the scenes of Stacey when she gave one of her kids to one of her dads, Kush, one of her kids to Martin, because there's a dad for each child for her. She's very lucky.
United Colours of Benetton.
And it showed her just pottering around the house, doing the housework, and she's bored. The whole reason she got rid of Martin is because she said, "Oh, you're boring. I want an exciting life."
Yeah.
And now she's pottering around the house, doing housework. So
which it's work that needs
grass
to be done.
Grass is always greener, isn't it?
Exactly that. Grass is always greener. And
So,
she said she felt like she was.
Girl.
Well, she said she felt like she was kind of rotting in the house when Kush came to drop off Arthur. Yeah, no, it's obvious that she wouldn't have gone to the cafe. She said, "Oh, I'm going to the cafe." Kush was like, "Oh no, I'm bother. Oh, why is that? Oh, Martin. There's another girl who's talking to Martin." So obviously Stacey feels a bit like, "Oh, maybe I should have stuck with Martin." Nice.
I mean, I think the only reason they've done all of this storyline is because they're reintroducing some of the Slaters this year. So I think that the only reason they've broken Martin and Stacey up is so they can reintroduce Kat, Big Mo, and I think her mum's coming back as well. So they're obviously going to all
Sausage
be
surprise.
She is.
Oh,
yeah, she's back. Big Mo's back.
Not Lynn. Is Lynn coming back?
No, Lynn's not been in it. She was only in it for 1 year. The actress is occupied. I wondered who out of the Slaters would be a good friend for Karen. Do you think Kat would be a good mix of her, or do you think Big Mo would mix well with Karen Taylor? I had a thought that could be quite a good friendship.
Not Kat.
Big Mo?
Whatever.
I mean, they must be bringing Big Mo back. They always bring her back and they never give her a story, so...
Well, no, they do. Isn't Big Mo married now to Elvis?
No, Fat Elvis, no, they broke up. Off screen.
Off screen. I mean, if they bring back Big...
I do like Big Mo.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't.
I just want her to have something to do.
I'd like her to have something to do other than kind of being a bit of a rogue trader. If it's going to be... If you think...
I think she'd be a good mix with Karen.
She would be. If it's going to be anyone, it would be Big Mo.
I think Karen needs a friend. We haven't had like a good friendship like Heather and Shirley in a while. Karen and Mo. Watch out. So the last...
Big Mo going to get pregnant by one of the young lads on the square.
Well, there isn't any young ones left.
There it
They've
is.
all been
There's
fired.
Keegan.
Oh, yeah.
Might do it to make... what's her face jealous?
What, the nanny? Ingrid?
No, not No, that's
Oh, Keanu.
That's Keanu. No, Keegan's the
the
young lad. Who's,
Time will tell.
Time will tell.
So the last lot of storylines for this week that we need to talk about is the Vincent Aiden God Mafia storyline.
Yes, the
where
fire
Aiden
is
all round the square, isn't he?
Well, this is it. The fire is now getting stoked. So they've lit it with the whole Aiden being introduced, and now they're adding a few logs and stoking up the fire one by one. So starting off obviously with the Vincent.
He wanted him to sell the Albert, didn't he?
He's having to sell the Albert now to Aiden
for
£1. He's taking the legal route.
Can anyone remember why Aiden is making him sell him the Albert?
Well, because one of Aiden's friends or family got
double-crossed
in when Vincent dubbed a bunch of people into the police, and he was so didn't he die or kill himself, and so he wants revenge for that respect.
It's all very mixed.
Yeah, Aiden's now winding up. So he's finished with Vincent. He's done that. He's now winding up Mick.
Because throughout the week, lovely Tracy, the barmaid.
Tracy,
extra.
Very observant this week. Got her extra £10 in her pay packet
most
for a line.
Active extra this week. She had a few lines, and she had her eye on the toilet the whole week and saw people going in and out. And obviously, a few weeks ago, we saw Masood get punched by someone.
Yes, that was about 2-3 weeks ago, wasn't it? And he heard someone sniffing in one of the cubicles. He went, "Oi!" because he was trying to man up, and he got punched in the face. So so
Mick came back from his, I don't know where he went, his visit away, and seen that people have been doing drugs in the toilet.
Well, they were doing it in the alleyway, weren't they? When he was walking it in, he never walks around the back of the pub when he makes his grand entrance back from his return. But this time he thought, you know what, I'm going to walk around the back of the pub. Did you notice the cellar where they keep the beer and all that there has all been boarded up? Because you remember that Keegan blew up the door in the cellar. It's a small observation, but I noticed he had
wonderful episode, the heist episode.
The heist, yes. So. He went round the back and he spotted someone. Would you sniff a substance in an alleyway around the back, or would you wait until you...
I wouldn't sniff.
No, nor would I.
Anywhere,
absolutely. It's just say no, kids. But do you think if you were going to buy, especially on a Friday, you think he was being bought for a night out for a bit of partying? You wouldn't be. Let's not discuss drugs. So yeah, and he spotted them there, and then he kind of saying to Tracy, "Hey, what's going on here? Why is he just walking in bold as brass coming into our toilet?"
The big man Mick, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Got
Are you going to buy
bat.
something? Yeah, he bought.
Went into that bathroom and he found out that if Mick had a problem, he had to talk with the boss.
But he requested to speak to the boss.
Can anyone guess who the boss would be before it was revealed?
Who knows?
Good storytelling.
Well, yeah, but again, it's
we all know who it was.
It wasn't like we all know what's happening here. So
that's how Friday's episode ended of the
he came in, didn't he?
Yes.
Into the pub, Aiden, and he kind of doffed his hat. He tipped his hat as if to say,
cane.
Yeah, and his cane.
So now that's 2 suspects for the who killed Aiden theory of me. So
obviously we're building around a large suspect pool. So next week, who else? Who's he going to annoy?
Upset Billy by getting him fired.
He's upset Billy, hasn't he? Yes, he got fired and
upset Vincent by selling the Albert, and now he's
buying the Albert.
Yeah, and now he's upsetting Mick by doing drugs in the Vic.
So he's got Keanu to upset and Phil. Yeah, how's he going to wind them two up?
Well, what does Phil still own? The Archers. I'm assuming he'll do something to the Archers. Or maybe he's...
No, he doesn't own the Archers. He sold it, remember? He sold
Ben.
it to Ben.
Maybe Phil's already upset because Ben's left because of him, maybe. Or maybe Sharon's upset.
Do you reckon he'll try to do something, Phil, to then upset Sharon, so that Sharon can be in the mix for a bit of fun? Because she seems to because she's dipped her toe in it a little bit by stealing the money from Ben.
Yes.
Before he went away.
So I'm assuming the whole murder is going to happen in whatever the R&R will be, because they like involving murders with strong female characters, and Mel's, she's not had a 10-year break for nothing. She's come back to do something. So I'm assuming.
Suffice to say, buckle yourselves in, kids, because this is going to be a long ride. I reckon. I don't think you're ever going to get a conclusion to it until the very earliest September. I think
the summer storylines will be coming up soon. That's when.
But then with the summer storylines, they
takes a break.
Yeah, but they can pad another break.
Yeah, Phil has a break over the summer as well.
God, he's a lucky lad, isn't he? So so they kind of pad things out over the summer. I mean, we've quite looking forward to what the summer storylines will be. But going back to Vincent quickly, let's talk about Vincent and Kim, because obviously Kim knows bits and pieces about Vincent having to sell the club. The ring's gone missing. It's in the DVD player.
Yes, Pearl.
Because Pearl's now
very busy this week, hasn't she?
Yeah,
Pearl?
she's got this new habit of basically taking things that isn't hers, and I feel that discipline needs to be much stricter in Kim.
Well, she takes anything that involves plot and hides it.
Yes, she's very sneaky, that Pearl. Oh, this might.
And it was the longest birthday party in the world.
She had a heck of a birthday.
Well, it was getting ready for 4 episodes. Have we even seen the party yet?
Was she first of all got to go to one of the best tours ever in the UK with Magic Marv, and then it was decided that he's going to have a she's going to have a party. But you're quite right. The setting up the party is probably longer than the actual party happening. It seems quite an elaborate party for a 3-year-old. But then it's Kim.
Expect anything from Kim. Last year she hired a bouncy castle, didn't she?
Oh yes, and she burst it because she was like, "Look at me, look at me!"
The great story of Wolford in Bloom, I think, wasn't it?
But Kim and Vincent. I have to say, I've really grown to like Vincent, and it's lucky because I love Kim. Kim is such a great character.
Yeah, she's one of the only characters who can do comedy in EastEnders. EastEnders has a real issue, I think, with comedy.
They've always had a problem with comedy, EastEnders.
But when Kim does it, it's
excellent.
It's genuinely funny.
Really, really good. Yeah, it's genuinely funny. It's really good. But she can do drama too, and she's just brilliant. So I worry for Vincent and Kim, because I think that I think their storyline is just going to get worse and worse and worse before it gets any better. He's got nothing to his name now. He can't keep up with the mortgage repayments. So are they going to have to start? Is Patrick going to, have them in his house? He tends to, bring.
He has got like 10 bedrooms.
Well, it used to be a B&B, didn't it?
I'm not quite sure what he's doing in that place alone, but we will find out. Yeah. I think that settles that for this week.
Excellent.
Thanks everyone for listening. And if you could give us a review, rate us and share us, we'd really appreciate that.
And again, don't forget to get in touch. EastEndersWeekly@gmail.com, or find us on Twitter and Instagram @EastEnders Week. We really do appreciate any comments and any suggestions for future shows.
Yeah. So thank you. Bye.
Bye.